And China have slammed US President Donald Trump's plans for an Iron Dome missile defense system as deeply destabilising in a joint statement issued after talks between President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping in Moscow. This comes after Chinese President Xi was welcomed by Russian President Putin at the Kremlin on Thursday for a 4-day state visit. Meanwhile, Russia's war in Ukraine enters its 4th year. Putin credited the combat brotherhood between Russia and China from the Second World War for their strong ties. He emphasised that their partnership is based on equality, mutual benefit and long-term goals, not short-term agendas. President Xi Jinping said China's relationship with Russia injects positive energy into a world in turmoil. He added that their cooperation brings stability and positive influence to the global situation. Xi further called the talks extremely fruitful and cordial. Let's listen in to the two leaders.
Вместе с китайскими друзьями твердо стоим на страже исторической правды, защищаем память о событиях военных лет, противодействуем современным проявлениям неонацизма и милитаризма. Мы развиваем наши связи во благо народов обеих стран и не против кого бы то ни было. Наши отношения носят равноправный, взаимовыгодный и неконъюнктурный характер.
Well, joining us to discuss these developments from Xi and Putin's meeting in Moscow is Gilbert Doctorow, a Russian affairs expert who is joining us from Brussels in Belgium. Gilbert, thank you ever so much for being here with us. Let's first look at this cooperation between China and Russia and these talks on a 4-day state visit for President Xi Jinping. What's the significance of the alliance between China and Russia?
The alliance is important in every way. It has given diplomatic support to Russia in international organizations. It has provided Russia with increased revenues from its sales, particularly of hydrocarbons, but not only, to China during this period when its other markets in Western Europe were shut down. It has given Russia a place of great importance in the forming multipolar world, which both countries say is their objective in international relations. It is to be noted that Mr. Putin quite exceptionally said publicly several weeks ago that Xi would be the main guest at the celebration of the 80th anniversary of the victory in Europe. I think that was surprising because it surely must have had a role in Prime Minister Modi's decision not to come. And that is sad. There are those of us who hoped that the event in Moscow tomorrow would be a context for a kind of new Yalta, that is a meeting of major powers to decide on the new structure of international relations that are based on realism, the realistic school of interests of states, and not on abstract values of a humanitarian nature that the United States has made the basis of its foreign policy officially. Unfortunately, the designation of Mr. Xi in this uniquely high position, I think, worked against the interests of a group meeting of great powers in Moscow, but so be it.
Yes, Gilbert, I would like to look at the statement that was made, talking about positive energy in a world of turmoil. Given that Russia are involved with a war with Russia and China are involved in several tensions regionally, what do you think is meant by this?
Well, I don't think we have to ask that question too deeply, considering the disruptive behavior every day of Mr. Trump in the United States. He is busy battering down many of the traditional institutions that were guiding U.S. foreign policy. And yet at the same time, he insists that he will not be a war president and that he is not going to enter into new wars. which is a positive contribution. But nonetheless, the basic inputs of the Trump administration to international affairs have been disruptive. His tariff war, has been announced a few weeks ago in a chaotic manner, has been immensely disruptive. And both Russia and China have stability and evolutionary development of relations as their main theses for carrying out foreign policy. So in the view of leaders of both countries, stability is primary. And what Mr. Trump is doing is considered to be disruptive, revolutionary, as chaotic as anything in the Russian experience Mr. Gorbachev did. And Gorbachev's running Russia was not very successful. The Russians view what Trump is doing as being similar to that. They don't expect great things to happen in the States. They do hope that his wish for peace will be guiding his actions, although everyone notes that his efforts to create a peace in the Russia-Ukraine situation is not matched by his behavior till now in the Middle East, which has been inflammatory by total support for Israel rather than pacifying.
Yes, Gilbert, we will, of course, come on to Donald Trump. You will be staying with us because we now move on and thousands of patriotic Russians are expected to line the streets of